Welcome to Raya's Power International. Today I'm going to start a new series called Power Bodybuilding Roadmap for 2019. I'm going to give you some strategies that will allow you to get stronger and grow more muscle mass in 2019. Now, after 36 years of power bodybuilding, I can honestly say that I train more intensely now than I did when I was younger. At 60 years of age, I can deadlift as much as I did 30 years ago. I carry less body fat, yet I continue to gain quality muscle. Now, I attribute this continued improvement to effective nutrition based on sound science, maintaining hormonal balance, and high-intensity training. In this series, I'll be taking a look at each of these topics in depth. Part 1 of Power Bodybuilding Roadmap for 2019 is nutrition. Now, I realize now how critical food is to building a great physique. I've become so in tune with my body that I can actually feel any change in my diet. I'm convinced that one can literally manipulate his or her body composition with nothing but food. Now, the first strategy I want to teach you is called eating clean to maintain ATP stores. Now, ATP is adenosine triphosphate. You've probably heard of that. Now, in order to fuel the intense workouts that build quality muscle, we must eat quality foods. These foods provide the muscles with the nucleoside triphosphate known as ATP, and the energy provided by ATP allows muscles to contract. Now, the ATP lasts about 3 seconds. Then the phosphocreatine combines with ADP to resynthesize ATP. This phosphocreatine lasts anywhere from 8 to 10 seconds. The phosphocreatine is replenished when glycogen stored in the muscles is broken down for energy to replenish the phosphocreatine. The resynthesized phosphocreatine once again combines with ADP to create more ATP. Now, this energy lasts only about 90 seconds. This entire process up to this point is called anaerobic glycolysis. Carbohydrates, fats, and proteins are all converted to ATP, but some foods contain preformed ATP within their cells. Now, these foods include meat, fish, nuts, fruits, and vegetables. Now, maintaining anaerobic glycolysis is one reason I eat whole foods in the proper combinations. The second strategy that I'd like to talk about is maintaining nitrogen balance for protein synthesis. Now, when we train with weights, we create micro tears in our muscles. Now, protein synthesis repairs those tears in the muscle's hypertrophy. For optimum protein synthesis to occur, nitrogen balance must be maintained. Now, when the intake of nitrogen is greater than the loss of nitrogen, and the total body pool of protein increases, positive nitrogen balance is achieved. Nitrogen is lost through the synthesis of the 9 essential amino acids. Now, these are the amino acids that our bodies do not manufacture. They include leucine, isoleucine, lysine, methionine, phenylalanine, threonine, tryptophan, valine, and histidine. Now, some of the foods that provide all the 9 essential amino acids include meat, poultry, eggs, dairy, fish, Greek yogurt, soy, and almond milk. Those are just a few. Now, the proper use of carbohydrates can aid in achieving nitrogen balance. Carbs stimulate insulin secretion, which spares internal protein by transporting protein in the process of being digested to the cell. Now, supplementing with crystalline free-form amino acids further assures the lifter that he or she is receiving the essential free-form amino acids necessary to sustain protein synthesis. The third nutritional strategy that I'd like to talk about is maintain alkalinity for muscle growth. Now, another aspect of nutrition that is critical for anyone attempting to build quality muscle is maintaining alkalinity within the body. When our bodies become too acidic, growth factors decrease. Growth hormone resistance occurs. Hyperthyroidism occurs. Blood cortisol increases. Oxygen uptake and release is decreased, and muscle mass is lost. The body will try to buffer the acidity with calcium, phosphorus, even glutamine. Now, it removes these from the bones, and the end result is weakened bones and muscle loss. But by eating fruits and vegetables, which are alkaline inside the body, we can bring the body back into an alkaline state. Now, I just outlined 3 nutritional strategies that will help you get stronger and grow more muscle mass. But there are a couple things I want to talk about that we want to avoid in our diet. The first is refined sugar. Now, the reason that refined sugar is harmful to the human body is because all of its minerals, vitamins, protein, fat, fiber, water, and enzymes have been removed. And all that remains is the carbohydrate or the sugar. Now, in order for your body to metabolize refined sugar, it has to draw on your body's stored nutrients. Calcium, B vitamins, vitamin C, potassium, magnesium, zinc, chromium, and sodium are removed from your bones and muscles to absorb and use the energy provided by refined sugar. Now, everyone knows that calcium is critical for strong bones. More importantly for lifters, calcium activates muscle contractions. So if you're low on calcium due to excessive refined sugar consumption, your performance may be affected, even to the point of experiencing muscle cramps. Now, magnesium is another mineral that refined sugar leaches from bones and muscles. Like calcium, it must be present in the right quantity for muscle contraction. Lifters with depleted magnesium may experience muscle cramps as well as muscle tension and nervous tension. Now, when refined sugar depletes the body's vitamin C, healing and contractile strength are affected. Specifically, vitamin C is necessary for the formation of collagen, which is a protein used to form tendons, ligaments, and blood vessels. If refined sugar has a negative effect on muscles, it only stands to reason that it might have a negative effect on one's joints. Sugar bonds with protein to form advanced glycation end products, or AGEs as we call them. These compounds speed up the oxidative process and damage the body's cells. They also accumulate in joint tissues and cause changes to the articular cartilage, which covers the ends of the bones, allowing the bones to glide over each other with very little friction. As a result, the cartilage becomes susceptible to damage and osteoarthritis. Another item that all lifters need to avoid is alcohol. Alcohol consumption has long been accepted as a macho activity among young male trainees. But anyone who is sincerely seeking to build quality muscle must face the fact that alcohol is toxic to the human body and will negatively impact muscle growth. Now, alcohol is metabolized primarily in the liver at the expense of glycogen. This glycogen is needed for anaerobic glycolysis. This limits one's ability to train with the intensity to build quality muscle and reduces one's strength. You might be asking yourself, is there a diet out there that will cover all these issues so I don't have to think about it so much? Well, there is. The most nutritionally sound diet in existence, and that is, we've talked about it many times at Raya's Power International, the multi-carbohydrate leverage loading diet. Now, to maintain ATP stores, nitrogen balance, alkalinity, and more, I use the multi-carbohydrate leverage loading diet. In a nutshell, one consumes 2 starchy carbohydrates, 2 fibrous carbohydrates, and 4 ounces of a lean protein with each meal 6 times per day. The protein and the fibrous carbohydrates slow the digestion of simple carbohydrates. This in turn slows the release of glucose, blood sugar, into the bloodstream. Now when the glucose is released into the bloodstream, it triggers an insulin response. Now this is important because insulin sends amino acids to the muscles, which makes it anabolic. Typically, insulin release stops 3 hours after a meal. Therefore, these meals should be spaced apart every 2 to 3 hours. The result of eating slow digesting meals back to back is a steady release of insulin. This keeps the body in an anabolic state throughout the day. Now, fruits and vegetables included in this diet help maintain an alkaline environment inside the body, thereby increasing growth hormone sensitivity and lowering blood cortisol. High-carb diets such as the multi-carbohydrate leverage loading diet also spare protein. So not only are glucose levels at an optimum throughout the day, but one's body remains in a positive nitrogen balance. Now, maintaining proper nutrition may sound overwhelming to a new trainee. I know it does. But like anything else, it becomes easier as time goes on. It becomes part of the lifestyle of the power bodybuilder. So if you're looking for new ways to grow more muscle and become stronger in 2019, try these nutritional strategies.